Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 4, Part 1. This is Central Tendency. We're going to do some basic stuff, things you've heard about before, but hopefully we talk about it in a slightly different way than what you've seen in the past. Variability we'll actually get into mostly in Chapter 5, but let's go ahead and start with a review question. Oh, actually, sorry. This is what we're going to do for Chapter 4. We're going to get into central tendency, and then variability, we'll get into that in Chapter 5. So don't worry about that too much. We'll get to these in a minute. All right. Review question. A stem and leaf plot should not be used for which one of these? Stem and leaf plot should not be used for nominal data. It shouldn't be used for any categorical data, okay? So categorical data is nominal. That's the same thing. Ordinal, interval, and ratio, those are all continuous. And so we can use a stem and leaf plot for continuous data, not for categorical. Nominal equals categorical. All right. We need to talk about stuff that you already have heard about. You were probably doing this in like 6th grade. But, oh, this is what I just told you about. Categorical equals nominal, ordinal interval ratio is continuous. Remember that. That's going to be really important. Make sure that you know those things. Good, fine. All right. Now we're going to start talking about stuff that you've heard about since you were in 6th grade or before. However, we need to remember that this is all based on the idea that the whole point of this class is to take information from a sample and apply it to a population. Our goal is to understand the population, right? Understanding variables in the population. When we can't measure the whole population, we can only measure the sample. So our entire purpose is to take information from a sample and try and see if it is applying to a population. Now, central tendency has to do with a distribution. So a distribution of scores just means a bunch of different scores. So you remember when we talked about ninjas, right? All the ninjas' scores, that was the distribution. Okay, so for example, all of the awesomeness scores for the ninjas, that was a distribution. Central tendency says, all right, what is the middle or what is normal for this particular distribution? What's in the middle? If we made a histogram out of it, what's in the center? That's why it's called central tendency. Variability we're going to talk about later on. So central tendency has to do with the whole distribution. Variability has to do with, hey, how different is one person's score from the mean, right? From these measures of central tendency. So central tendency is first, right? So what does it look like in the middle? What is central? What is normal? Versus variability, which is how does one person's individual score differ from what is normal? Central tendency is based on mean, median, and mode. You've heard these before, haven't you? You've heard mean, median, and mode before. I don't expect you I expect you to say, oh, mean, median, and mode. I've done this since I was like 3. Fine, good for you. There's just a couple things we need to make sure that you understand. And those couple things include that when we talk about the mean, we are talking about x bar and mu. So do you see this right here? This x has a bar over it. This symbol, x bar, x with a bar over it, we call it x bar, that is the symbol for the mean. If it's for a sample, the mean of a sample is x bar. However, the mean for a population is this Greek letter here, that is mu. Okay? This Greek letter right here, mu, is the same thing as x bar. It's the same thing, except that mu is for a population and x bar is for a sample. That's the difference. That's the difference right there. Okay? We calculate both of them the same way. This is the formula for x bar as well as for mu. Do you remember this? This thing right here means sum. Okay? So the sum of x, meaning the sum of all of the variable, right? Sum all of the values of x. So for example, if x was awesomeness for our ninjas, we would want the sum of all awesomeness for all the ninjas, right? Sum of all the ninjas' awesomeness. Divided by n. And n is the number of individuals in the sample. So if we had 9 ninjas, we would add up all of their awesomeness scores and divide by 9. It's just asking for an average. A mean is the average. If it's for a sample, we call it X bar. If it's for a population, we call it mu. So here's my question for you. X bar is a statistic. X bar is a statistic. Mu is a parameter. X bar will be a number that represents the sample. Mu is going to be a number that represents the population. Okay, X bar, the sample, means it's a statistic. Mu is a number that represents the population, therefore it is a parameter. Okay, median, you've heard about this before. So when you look at all the scores, the distribution of scores, the one that's right in the middle, that's the median. Mode is the most common. So what is the most common score? That's what you need to know, mean, median, and mode. You've done this before. Let's look at some examples. So the example that we're going to do is Menudo. So Menudo, before any K-pop, J-pop, or any Backstreet Boys, whatever else, there was a boy band from Puerto Rico called Menudo. These are some members of Menudo. So since like 1977 up until the 2000s, Menudo was a boy band, and they were recording music, etc. So here's what we're going to do. I have right here, let's go ahead and show you in my Excel. I'm going to show you the data for Menudo. So what you see right here is a distribution of data. These are all the members of Menudo. So there were a total of 34 members of Menudo. These are each of their names. So this column is the first name. This column is their last name. This is how old they were when they started singing in Menudo. And this is how old they were when they ended. Now, look how young. That's kind of sad. I have a son who's 13 and another one who's 11. I don't think they should be in Menudo. Anyway, fine. These are the beginning age and the end age. Tenure just means how long they were in the band. So all it is the end age minus the beginning age. So that tenure just means how long they were in Menudo. That's what it means. All right. So these are all the different members of Menudo, all of them. So let's go ahead and ask first a couple of questions. Number one, we're going to calculate this together, and then I'll ask you some questions about it. So I'm going to just draw this. The first thing we're going to do is the sum. Whoops, let me fix that. Sum of x. Sum of x. So this uppercase sigma, that's the sum of x. Now in this case, let's let x be your tenure. All right. So in this particular case, sorry, I pushed the button again. X is tenure. Okay? X equals tenure. So give me the sum of x. So what we do is we just add up all of these tenure scores, right? We add up how long everybody was in Menudo, how many years. So that's all that's asking for. Sum of x. And so what we need is the sum of all of these. That's what we're looking for. The sum of all of those is 121. So all told, everybody in Menudo spent 121 total years being a part of Menudo. Okay, that's all that means. By the way, I'm in Excel right now, but most of this stuff can be done in like Google spreadsheets and that kind of thing. So to find the mean, all we do is take the sum of x divided by n. So the mean is going to be the sum of x, which is this, 121. Okay, so we know that the sum of x equals 121 divided by n. And what is n? N is the total number of people. There it is right there, 34. There are a total of 34 people who have been a part of Menudo. So we need 121 divided by 34. So this is just going to be equals 121 divided by n, which is going to be 34. 3.558824. Now remember, when we report things, we are going to just use, we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So we would say 3.56. Okay? So the mean tenure for all the members of Menudo is 3.56. So here's a question for you. Is this X bar or mu? This is mu. This right here, 3.56, is mu. Why? Because mu is the mean for the entire population. These are all of the members that have ever existed in Menudo. That's all of them. All of them right there. That is all of them. All of these are members of Menudo. All of them. That's the whole population. So that means that this mean, the average score right there, 3.56, is the mu. X bar would be if we took a subset of these. So for example, let's say that I only wanted the last 10. Okay? So I take a sample of the last 10 members of Menudo and I look for their mean. If I did that, it would be over here. Let me put it over here. So let's just do the average for the last 10 people, 24 through 34. The mean for the last 10 people would be 4.64. Now that would be an X bar because it's a sample from the population. X bar equals 4.64, right? Mu is 3.56 because that's the average for everybody. X bar is 4.64 because it's a sample of the last 10 people. That's what's going on. Okay, now here's what I want to do next. I need you to figure out what is the median and what is the mode. So in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and take these data and I'm going to put them in a different place so that I can reorder them. So these are all those tenure scores that we just barely did, all those tenure scores. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them in order here. We're going to sort them. Let's go ahead and sort them from lowest to highest. There they are right there. Okay, now there's a total of 34 of these. So the median is going to be the middle score. Okay. All right, so the median is the middle score. So what we're going to do is we're going to count. Since there's 34 of these, that means that half would be 17, the other half would be 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is the 17th score, that's the 18th score. The median for this, the median is going to be 3. The median is going to equal 3. Okay, now there's an even number of scores here, 34 total scores. And what would happen is if there's an equal number, you should technically take the 17th and the 18th, right? Because there's an equal number on both sides, and then you average those two. So 3 plus 3 divided by 2 is still 3. That's going to be easy. If there's an odd number, you just take the middle, whatever it happens to be. We do not have different symbols for a parameter versus a statistic with median. Those stay the same. Okay, so do not worry about that. Mode is which one occurs most often. So let's take a look here. What occurs most often? 0, that has 2 of those, right? Okay, so there's 2 zeros. We're really just saying which one has the highest frequency. That's what we're doing for the mode. There's 2 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fours. 1, 2, 3, 4 fives. 1, 2, 3 sixes. 1, 2 sevens. 1, 8. 1, 9. 1, 10. 1, 2, 3 11s. So, what is the mode? It's the one that's the most common. The highest frequency of any of these numbers is 3 right there. So the mode is going to be 3. All right? The median is 3. The mode is 3. But remember what is the average. Now the average, if you remember over here, is a little higher than that, 3.56. 3.56. So mu is 3.56. That's mean, median, and mode. Easy enough. For the entire population of members of Menudo, the median age, or sorry, the median tenure, the median number of years that you were in the group is 3, the mode is 3, and the average is 3.56. The mean is 3.56. Okay, now let's have you do it on your own. Let's take some data that we looked at previously and talk about it. So we did the example of Menudo. Okay, now let's do this for hours of sleep. I need you to tell me the mean, median, and mode for hours of sleep. So what is the mean hours of sleep? Okay, so what is the mean hours of sleep? Let's go ahead and I'm going to pull up the data over here because it's going to be easier for me. So this is the same data just in Excel, all right? The mean hours of sleep is going to be the average, so let's go ahead and get the sum. This is going to be the sum of all of these. That's 60, but that's not the mean. Mean is going to be the sum, okay, the sum of x divided by n, and there's a total of 7 people. So 60 divided by 7 is 8.57. So the mean is 8.57. 8.57. Is this mu or x bar? This is x bar because this is a sample. This is not the entire population. I gave this to you in previous chapter. It was a sample. I think I told you a sample of ninjas. I can't remember what I told you. Anyway, it's a sample. So that means that this number, 8.56, that is going to, sorry, 8.57. 8.57 is x bar. 8.57 is x bar. Okay, what is the median? The median here, well, the lowest, so there's 7 total scores. So what we need is the fourth score. The fourth score, the one that's right in the middle. The lowest is 6, then 7, then 8, and then the middle score is 8 right here. By middle, I mean middle in the range of these scores. So this is the lowest, 1, 2, 3, and this is the fourth, okay? So the median's right in the middle. The median hours of sleep was 8 hours of sleep. What is the mode? The mode is the most common. Mode is 8. All right. That's pretty good for now. Thanks, everybody.